Well, in the latest side of the ongoing battle between Tamil Nadu and the centre, Chief Minister MK Stalin has announced a high-level committee to bolster state autonomy and federalism. This is the latest chasm, as it were, the gap between where the centre lies and where the state lies on the entire issue of state autonomy versus federalism.
Intensifying his offensive against the BJP and the centre, Chief Minister MK Stalin today constituted a committee under retired Chief Justice of India, Kurian Joseph, to examine, evaluate and recommend measures to protect legitimate rights of states guaranteed by the Constitution and to improve centre-state relations. It will also emphasize federalism and recommend measures to retrieve state subjects that were brought under concurrent or central list over the years, weakening states.
நாட்டின் இறையாண்மை மற்றும் ஒற்றுமையை பேணி பாதுகாப்பது ஒன்றிய அரசினுடைய முதற் கடமை. அந்த உயரிய நோக்கத்தினை செம்மையாக செயல்படுத்திட அனைத்து மாநிலங்களும் தங்களுடைய முழுமையான ஒத்துழைப்பினை நல்கிட வேண்டும். அதே வேளையில் மக்களுக்கான வளர்ச்சி திட்டங்களை நிறைவேற்றுவதில் மாநிலங்களின் பங்கு முதன்மையானது. அதற்கு ஒன்றிய அரசு உரிய ஆதரவை வழங்க வேண்டும் என்பதுதான் இதன் அடிப்படை கருத்து.
The BJP calls this diversionary tactic by the ruling DMK amid corruption allegations and law and order issues.
Whenever they are facing the crisis and also whenever they are in power, when they are facing the anger of the people, immediately they start talking about the autonomy of the state. See how many times the DMK was in power at the center. That too in UPA. They were so powerful. Why they did not take any initiative? Why they did not appoint any committee during that time to study about the center-state relationship?
1974, Kalanjar Karnanidhi ji given the memorandum to Indira Gandhi ji. We want to write the flag hosting, the August 15th. Indira Gandhi madam given to state. This is one of the autonomous.
Armed with the recent Supreme Court verdict on governors establishing states' rights, MK Stalin is now taking on the BJP on state autonomy, which literally brings together several issues: NEET exemption, two-language policy and fair delimitation. With successive governments at the centre, both the BJP and the Congress usurping states' powers, treating them like municipalities. The big question, will things change? In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find TV.
Well, joining us now, Dr. S.G. Surya, State Secretary of the BJP in Tamil Nadu. We are joined by A. Sarvanan of the DMK, Dr. Sumant Raman and Narayan Lakshman, both political analysts and senior journalists. Thank you both. Thank you all very much for being with us. Dr. Surya, let me come to you first. The decision of the DMK government to set up this autonomy commission, as it were, comes in the back of a very strong judgment by the Supreme Court against the governor, where they said that his actions were illegal and arbitrary and that he acted with clear lack of bona fides and showed scant respect for previous judgments, besides a lot of other things. In this battle between Tamil Nadu and the centre on the entire issue of autonomy, does the BJP not find itself on the back foot after what the Supreme Court has ruled?
Apart from the Supreme Court ruling, they have been doing this since 1960s. In fact, in today's statement, Mr. Stalin reads out James Madison, who was the former president of USA, who was also part of the drafting committee of the USA Constitution. He also quotes, "The operations of the federal government will be most extensive and important in times of war and danger, those of the state governments in times of peace and security." The problem is the DMK as a whole and DMK as a government fails to understand that we are not USA with a complete federal form of government, but we have a quasi-federal system running in place. Dr. Ambedkar says very clearly in the Constituent Assembly debate on November 4th, 1948, India is a union, not a federation of states. The Indian Federation is a union because it is indissoluble. No state has the right to secede from it. So I think the DMK should first understand we are not USA to compare everything with the USA. The founders of the framers of our constitution have had extensive dialogues about how our constitution should be. And there were so many debates on why it should not model the USA. In so many instances, Dr. Ambedkar has said that we cannot be USA, but we'll have a quasi-federal government with a unitary setup which will precede the states. So therefore, every single instance, for example, in 1971, Mr. Karunanidhi's commission came out with the recommendations. After 1971, DMK held power in center for 20 full years. What actions have they taken? What are the efforts taken by them to implement the same recommendations that was found out by Mr. Karunanidhi's government? So the point is, when they are out of power, they remember everything. When they are not, when they are in power, they do not mind any of these things that they themselves devise.
All right.
That
So
is
you're
the
accusing
problem.
them of double standards besides anything else. But Mr. Saravanan, you replied to that point, but also answer this question. How can Tamil Nadu assure citizens in the state that the push for autonomy will not isolate Tamil Nadu from crucial national development funds, particularly given the centre's past fiscal responses? Are you battling, at the cost of perhaps the peril of citizens in your own state?
No, I don't know. What logic is this? Why should the state autonomy or the rights what we are asking should be tied up with central funds, which we are deemed to get anyway?
But that's what is happening.
No. See, that is the way the BJP is conducting. That is exactly why we want this. The BJP is trying to undermine the states where the opposition are in power. That is why we were not able to get this 2,150 crores, which we were supposed to get just because the minister says, under his whims and fancies, they want to stop this fund, they stall this fund. And they have super chief ministers. They think the governors are super chief ministers to try and stop the administration. They want to break down the administration of the states ruled by the opposition parties. And we are not here. We don't want what is happening in the US. We want the constitution. The most important aspect is this. Our constitution is self-sufficient. Our constitution gives us enough powers. Who tinkered with it? And they are saying, oh, you were in power. You did not do anything, because though there was nothing which will affect the autonomy of the states or usurping the rights of the states. But right now we are having GST, which has severely restricted the states' monetary support. We are incompetent. We are dependent on the union government to devolve that. Are they doing it right way? Not at all. See, everything is tied at the union level. You take the NDRF funds, oh, we have an NDRF. The NDRF, we will collect the money, we will share it. But if it is Gujarat, they will give 1,000 crores immediately. If it is for the state of Tamil Nadu, they will say, oh, you think we are having an ATM? We want to put a full stop to such discriminatory attitude.
Okay.
We want to have a foolproof mechanism where the whims and fancies of the union government, the party in power at the union, will not affect the rights of the states.
And do you believe that the commission that you formed, with a retired judge of the Supreme Court, is going to give you what you believe, will guarantee autonomy? It's almost as if you've prejudged the outcome of a report.
No, we are not prejudging. We want a blueprint. We are facing several issues. So many states ruled by the opposition parties are facing several issues.
But Mr. Saravanan, what if that report which comes out in a few years actually backs what the centre's argument is? That we are not a federal state in like the United States. There is a quasi setup over here.
No, I think
states and the centre must work together.
You are getting it all wrong. Vishnu, you are getting it all wrong. We are not wanting to emulate the US government. We are saying the Indian constitution, which came into power, which came into force when we got independence, please implement those provisions here.
No, but I take that point. I understand that point. But my question, Mr. Saravanan, to you is, are you operating under the assumption that this autonomy commission, call it what you like, that you've set up will back your argument? What if it doesn't?
No, there is a question of not backing. See, I have cited you a number of instances. The Supreme Court gave a tight slap to the governor, but the governor is still sticking here, shamelessly sticking here in the state of Tamil Nadu. We don't want such situations to happen.
Okay.
So the Autonomy Commission will certainly suggest ways and means. And there is, when fiscal development, there is no fairness.
All right. Okay, one second, Dr. Surya. Let's talk a little bit about fiscal devolution. Why does the centre withhold 2,500 crores from Tamil Nadu for rejecting NEP, the new education policy, when this action seems to contradict the federal principles that the BJP and you yourself claim to support?
We have clarified it many times, Vishnu. The problem here is the Chief Secretary of Tamil Nadu wrote a letter in March 2024 saying from the next year, PM Shri School scheme will be implemented in the state of Tamil Nadu. And the devolution of the Samagraga Shiksha Abhiyan was based on the assumption that the Tamil Nadu will implement the PM Shri schools. The devolution of funds for the Samagraga Shiksha scheme starts in the January of the previous financial year. Since we have allocated close to 800 crores out of 2,100 crores only for the PM Shri schools, and when the state government says they cannot implement one component of the Samagraga Shiksha Abhiyan, which is the PM Shri schools, the central government is unable to release the funds. Even assuming that we release the funds, tomorrow the CAG is going to come to us and point out that it is wrong that you release the Samagraga Shiksha Abhiyan funds. Had the state government clearly said that we will never implement PM Shri school scheme in Tamil Nadu, out of the 4 components, PM Shri component would be excluded and the remaining 1,600 crores would have been devolved to the state of Tamil Nadu. It is the problem with the state government. They promised to implement PM Shri schools and they backed out. Now they blame the central government, which I don't understand at all. Next year, let them say we will never implement PM Shri schools. The devolution will be devoid of PM Shri school schemes and the entire fund will be allocated based on the actuals. This is the real situation.
Can I come in?
Just give me 1 second. I'll come back to you later. I wanted to go across to my other panels.
Vishnu, it's not fair. It's not fair. You asked him to speak.
No, but I have other guests also, my friend.
No, you allowed him to rebut me.
No, but and then after that, he will say that I have allowed you to rebut him. So we can go on forever.
No, allow me to speak. He's a BJP spokesman.
No. Can I ask you? Can I come back to you?
Vishnu, 10 seconds to me, Vishnu.
Okay.
10 seconds to me.
I would give you more time.
Okay,
Why 10
just
seconds?
10 seconds. Just without arguing, I will just finish this.
Go ahead.
See, what he says is a lie. The Tamil Nadu government did not agree for implementation of the PM Shri schools. We will not, at any cost, we will not allow a third language. 3-language formula is not for the state of Tamil Nadu. They want to do that, we will oppose it.
Okay. Narayan Lakshman, is the State Autonomy Committee that's been now created a sincere effort to strengthen federalism, or is it a political tactic ahead of elections?
Well, it serves both purposes, Vishnu, I think, because on the one hand, there are some extremely serious threats in terms of the traditional understanding of how federal politics is supposed to work, at least vis-a-vis Tamil Nadu. And, Sharvanan said that the Constitution offers enough protections. I genuinely wonder if it does in the current climate, because not only have we had this case of gubernatorial overreach, but you've also had, the looming threat of delimitation and what it can do in the future in terms of the representative power of the states, which are contributing more revenue to the national sort of kitty, and which have actually taken amazing steps to bring down the rate of population growth. So there are deep concerns there as well. And I think in this context, it is actually quite a natural and organic plan to not just Tamil Nadu, in fact, all of the southern states, in fact, maybe even all states not ruled by the BJP, to come together and, or even on their own, think about how they can get over each of these measures, because they are literally looming over them. And even in terms of the future, I think you are going to see much more in terms of signaling. So like you talked about the political aspect, I do think, of course, all of these states care about drumming up a certain amount of consensus around these issues. So when MK Stalin calls for a fair delimitation symposium across southern states, it is definitely political signaling too. So what I mean to say, it serves both purposes, but both purposes are very much an expediency at this current juncture in politics.
Dr. Sumant Raman, does labeling Tamil Nadu's autonomy panel as being separatist, which is what the BJP has done, does that reflect a refusal to engage in meaningful dialogue on the issue of federalism, particularly when states feel, and it's not just Tamil Nadu, that their rights are being eroded?
First, are the rights of states across India being eroded by center? My gut feel and my firm belief is, yes, they are. Now, to what extent we can argue about it, but certainly there has been an attempt to centralize, power over the last several years. And I think it's not restricted to this BJP government, though they've taken it to the next level. The previous UPA government was also equally guilty of trying to centralize power. Now, having said that, the reason why the BJP is able to take this stance accusing the DMK of flirting with separatism is because of the history of the party. Up until 1960, the DMK actually voiced for an independent Tamil nation called Dravida Nadu. And as late as 2022, its party leader A. Raja actually virtually threatened and cautioned, and I'll give you the quote, "Don't nudge us to seek an independent Tamil Nadu." This was in Namakkal on the 3rd of July 2022. Don't nudge us to seek an independent Tamil Nadu. So I think if the BJP is speaking about this, about the DMK trying to go back to its flirting with separatism, mind you, Vishnu, that separatism ship has sailed. Today there is zero support in Tamil Nadu, except maybe a few fringe elements, for any kind of a secessionist movement. The people of Tamil Nadu are absolutely against any of this kind of, saber rattling, as it were. Autonomy, see, again, there is a difference between federalism and autonomy. Autonomy is more a political concept. Federalism is more a constitutional concept. And there is certainly support for the federalism where the powers are being taken away by the center. They should be restored to the state. I think there is no problem on that. As far as this committee is being appointed, it's purely political. Mr. Stalin loves appointing committees. There have been I think 24 or 36 committees appointed in the last 4 years. I don't think anybody has a clue as to what they have achieved or even how many of them have even submitted reports. And interestingly, the interim report will come 4 months or 3 months before the announcement of the elections. How very convenient is that? And the final report 2 years later, we don't know if there is a change of government in 26, then this committee itself may not be even asked to continue.
Doctor,
so I think it's more a political statement than anything else.
Dr. S.G. Surya, just on the use of that word separatist, is that something which is, as was just said by Dr. Sumant Raman, an idea which has sailed, it doesn't apply to Tamil Nadu, and yet to use that word, in connection with this autonomy panel seems to reflect something which is not a reality, or do you believe it is?
Vishnu, in 1971, after the Karunanidhi appointed Rajmanar committee submitted its report, Mr. Vajpayee spoke. Mr. Vajpayee said, "I am so appalled that a distinguished judge like Rajmanar was used to foil separatist thoughts in the minds of the people of India, and that cruel and that bad the DMK party is. We still stand by it. Although I agree there is no emotion of separatism in any part of Tamil Nadu, there are fringe elements. The ruling party just currently is we are very afraid of, because they have been backers of separatism. Today, most of their proxies still demand separatism in different forms, in different channels, in different ways. So we are not ready to trust this government when it comes to this federal, non-federal unity, non-unity, and all these factors. The concept of separatism is ingrained in their nature. Just because it is not the emotion anymore, they are not ready to explicitly put out their wishes. But through these committees, through various other actions, they are trying to, kindle the mood of separatism in Tamil Nadu, and that is true. I totally agree to it. Like Dr. Sumant quoted, there are n number of second-line DMK speakers who still speak against the Indian Union. It is very common here.
Mr. Saravanan, will you respond to that? You have supporters who are separatists.
It's very funny and farcical that BJP is taking lessons on patriotism. The party which refused to participate in the freedom struggle, and the RSS which refused to hoist the national flag until very recently, is teaching us patriotism. I want to remind everybody here that in 1962, until then, we wanted a separate state, Dravida Nadu. But when China war came, our great leader Perennar Anna dropped that demand and went across the state and collected funds for the union government to fight China. 1971, Pakistan war. Our great leader Dr. Kalaignar was the chief minister. He collected the highest funds from among all the states and donated it to the Indian Union. 1999, Kargil war. Again, our great leader Dr. Kalaignar was the chief minister. He collected the highest funds among all the states and donated it to the union for Kargil war. So please, please don't teach us patriotism. We will never compromise on our rights. If we ask our rights, you want to paint us as separatists, it shows your insecurity. It shows your silliness. You don't have the courage to answer our demands for more
Mr.
rights.
Saravanan,
All our rights are circumscribed within the Constitution.
My
We
friend,
are
you're
not
getting very
seeking
angry
anything
today.
which is beyond the Constitution.
Hold on for a second. Mr. Saravanan, as
Vishnu,
an independent
Vishnu, can I
journalist,
reply,
I'll come
please?
to you.
One
One second. Mr. Saravanan has been waiting. Is this use of the word separatist by the BJP inaccurate in this context? Mr. Narayan Lakshman?
Yeah, I don't. I think separatism is deliberately indicating, sort of injecting an element of drama, which truly sort of belies what the Dravidian movement has been in the past and what it is today. It has certainly had a sort of a radical phase, triggered by the social stratification at the time, post-colonial. But it has also been a very accommodative and adjusting movement over the years, which the language and the symbols used by the leaders has changed over time. Different social groups have been co-opted into the movement over time. And the focus has shifted firmly from any talk of, a separate land, which is actually based more on questions of, autonomy even back then, to focusing more on within the federal setup. How can Tamil Nadu get an equal share of rights like every other Indian state is due? I think the problem has arisen for the leaders of Tamil Nadu and for the people of Tamil Nadu, because there's a feeling that given that they offer a dissenting voice, a different opinion on language, culture, economy, and much, much more, that they are being punished for it. It is sort of like a parallel to the delimitation principle, the way it's been enunciated by some people, which is just because we have a pluralistic ethos, we are being hammered in and told to take the party line. And I think those are the terms in which you have to see not separatism, but a dissenting approach to what is being preached from Delhi.
All right. Look, gentlemen, I'm completely out of time. I'd like to thank you all very much for being with us. We're going to revisit this topic.